Ever feel like, kind of like you're battling yourself? Like there's this inner like tug of war going on
Yeah.
between that part of you that's like, I know what I should be doing right now,
Right.
and that other part that's like, but Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can all relate to that.
Totally. So get this, the Ramayana, like that ancient epic, it might actually have some wisdom for us, like practical advice on how to deal with that inner chaos.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and we're going deep, deep into that today. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the Adhyātmic side of the Ramayana.
Okay, and for our listeners who aren't familiar, Payatmik basically refers to the inner journey toward enlightenment.
Right, exactly. It's like less about the external battles and more about what's going on inside.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we're going to be drawing on this really fascinating piece called Pasted Text. Have you had a chance to read through it yet?
Yeah, I dove into it this morning, and I have to say, I was blown away.
What jumped out at you?
Well, I mean, the way it uses the Ramayana's characters as, like, metaphors
Right.
for our own internal struggles,
Yeah.
that's mind-blowing.
It's like holding up a mirror to our minds, right?
Totally. It's like, whoa, this isn't just some ancient story.
Right.
This is about me. This is about us. It's about how we deal with those, like, inner conflicts that we all face.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is how this pasted text connects it to the Dharmic worldview.
Okay, so Dharmic, that's basically the broader framework of Hinduism, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's all about mind or consciousness taking center stage. Like, that's the heart of it all.
Okay, so if mind is, like, the foundation, how does that play into the Ramayana's deeper meaning? Like, how's it all connected?
Well, the text makes this really cool linguistic connection.
Okay, I'm all about linguistic connections. Hit me.
So, Brahman.
Brahman. Yeah, that's like the ultimate reality in Hinduism, yeah?
Exactly, the ultimate reality. So they're saying Brahman is like the expansion of mind.
Okay, so Brahman is like all-encompassing consciousness.
Yeah, like think vast, universal consciousness.
Wow, okay.
And then there's Ātman.
Ātman, right. That's our individual self.
Yes. And that's like the descent of mind, like that universal consciousness kind of condensing down into being you.
So Brahman is like the whole ocean of existence.
Yeah.
And we're each like little waves,
A perfect analogy.
but still part of that same ocean, right?
Precisely. And just like a wave, you have your own motion, you have your own energy, that Ātman, that self-awareness. That's what creates your unique experience of you.
I like that. So where does the whole Ramayana part come in?
Well, the text uses this really interesting image to describe mind. It compares it to a fractal.
Okay, gotta admit, fractal makes me think of like trippy geometry class, not necessarily ancient wisdom.
Right. But it's actually super relevant here.
Okay, humor me. How so?
So a fractal is this pattern, right,
Okay.
that repeats, but at different scales.
Right.
And it's infinitely detailed.
Right, like those Mandelbrot sets. I remember those. Beautiful, but kind of hurt your brain to look at.
Exactly. And that's kind of the point. So mind, like a fractal, expands outwards,
Okay.
encompassing the entire universe. But it also contracts inwards to that single point of your awareness.
So like both infinitely big and infinitely small at the same time.
Exactly. And that's the paradox of consciousness, right? It's both this vast universal thing, and it's this incredibly personal individual experience.
It's like those intricate mandala patterns.
Yes.
Everything radiating from and returning to the center.
Yeah.
Or even that symbol, the Ouroboros.
Oh, I love that you brought that up.
The snake eating its tail, right?
Yeah.
It's about cycles, right?
Precisely. The cyclical nature of consciousness. That constant interplay between the vastness of existence and the individuality of our experience.
Yeah.
And this is where the Ramayana comes in. The text actually takes us on this journey through different eras of Hindu mythology, and it shows how the idea of the hero evolves alongside this understanding of mind.
Okay, so we're connecting ancient heroes to like the evolution of consciousness itself.
Exactly.
This is getting good.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do ancient heroes connect to all of this? Give me the Spark Notes version.
Okay, so imagine the Ṛgveda.
Okay, so we're going way back, like one of the oldest Hindu texts, right?
The oldest. And the hero there, Indra, this powerful god conquering external forces. He's like the ultimate warrior king.
Makes sense. I mean, back then, life was probably pretty rough. You needed a strong hero to fight off all the, like, literal tigers and demons.
Exactly. He's the ideal for someone like, say, King Sudas.
Right, King Sudas, who's actually mentioned in the text.
You got it. But then we get to the Mahābhārata, things get really interesting.
Okay, hit me with the Mahābhārata plot twist. What happens to the hero there?
Well, the hero there is Arjuna, right?
Right.
And he's actually called Indraputra,
Which
was
means?
son of Indra. literally.
Okay, so, like, he's carrying on the legacy.
It seems that way on the surface, but the text points out how significant this shift is. The hero is no longer external.
Correct.
He's become internalized. Arjuna embodies those heroic qualities within himself.
So it's less about, like, brute strength and more about inner strength. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like graduating from following in someone's footsteps to forging your own path.
A perfect way to put it. And on this inward journey, Arjuna's charioteer, it's not just some random dude, it's Krishna.
Oh, wow. Krishna. Like, the Krishna?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've gone from Indra, this external badass, to Arjuna, who's all about inner strength, being guided by, like, a manifestation of divinity within. Where does Rama fit into this whole hero evolution?
That's a great question, and that's what we're going to get into next.
Okay, so we've gone from Indra, this external badass, to Arjuna, who's all about inner strength, being guided by, like, a manifestation of divinity within. Where does Rama fit into this whole hero evolution?
That's where things take a really interesting turn.
Okay.
The text points out that Rama's name, it actually comes from the root word ram,
Okay.
which means to play or to delight.
Wait, really? I always pictured Rama as, like, this serious, duty-bound hero.
Right, and
Not exactly Mr. Fun-loving.
that's a common misconception. The text challenges us to see these avatars, these divine beings, not as these distant figures,
Right.
but as energies that descend into human form to guide us.
Okay, I like that.
And Rama's playful nature, it actually links him to Krishna. Really?
Who's often associated with joy and lightheartedness.
So it's like, even amidst these epic battles and challenges, there's this underlying current of, like, joy and playfulness. That's kind of beautiful, actually.
It is, and this is where that Adhyātmic lens comes in again.
Okay.
The text suggests that we can interpret the Ramayana as a guide for our own personal journeys,
Okay.
with Rama representing that part of us that's striving to reconnect with our true nature.
So that Ātman merging back into Brahman.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this Adhyātma Rāmāyaṇa thing is such a big deal.
Yeah.
What else does it say about how we can apply this to our own lives?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting.
Oh, I love when it gets really interesting. Remember how we talked about mind being at the heart of the Dharmic worldview?
Yeah, like that Brahman is the ocean, we're the waves thing.
Exactly. Well, the Adhyātma Rāmāyaṇa, it takes this metaphor even further.
Okay.
It says that in this inner interpretation, Rama represents Brahman.
Okay.
Sita, Rama's wife, represents the mind.
Okay.
And Ravana, the demon king, embodies the ego.
Whoa, hold up.
Yeah.
So that epic battle between Rama and Ravana, that's actually happening inside of us.
All the time.
All the time. Our higher selves versus our egos.
Exactly.
Mind blown.
It's a powerful image, right? And the text really dives into the implications of this.
Okay, so, like, how do we actually see that playing out?
Well, if Sita represents our minds,
Okay.
and Ravana our egos, then that whole abduction scene takes on a whole new meaning.
Okay, you're going to have to break this down for me. How does the whole Sita getting kidnapped thing
Yeah.
relate to our egos?
Think about it like this.
Okay.
Our egos, those voices of doubt
Right.
and fear,
Yeah.
they can actually hijack our minds, pulling us away from our true nature,
Okay.
from that connection to Brahman.
Right.
Just like Ravana imprisoned Sita in Lanka,
Right.
our egos can create these elaborate illusions that keep us trapped in suffering.
Okay, so my inner critic, those negative thoughts that, like, semi-spiraling, that's my personal Ravana.
Exactly.
And those moments where I doubt myself, where I feel lost and uncertain, that's like my mind being held captive in Lanka.
That's a powerful way of looking at it, right?
Whoa. Yeah.
But here's the good news.
Okay, good, because I was about to have an existential crisis.
The Adhyātma Rāmāyaṇa doesn't leave us hanging.
Okay, good.
It shows us how to fight back against those inner demons.
Okay.
How to reclaim our minds and reconnect with our true selves.
All right, lay it on me. How do we escape this metaphorical Lanka and free our inner Sitas?
Remember how we talked about those qualities of tapas and shakti?
Yes.
They're crucial here.
Okay.
Just like Rama needed Lakshmana's unwavering focus and Hanuman's incredible strength to rescue Sita, we need to cultivate those same qualities within ourselves.
So tapas, that discipline and dedication, that's like our secret weapon against getting distracted by our own golden deer.
Exactly.
And Shakti, our inner power, helps us break free from those limiting beliefs that are holding us back.
Precisely.
Okay, I can see that.
It's about recognizing that we have the inner resources to overcome those challenges. Just like the heroes in the Ramayana.
It makes you think of that saying, we have the power within us to be our own greatest heroes.
I love that.
But also, like, sometimes we need a little help along the way, right? Like, Rama had his crew.
Absolutely. The text reminds us that seeking guidance
Okay.
from teachers,
Right.
mentors,
Mm-hmm.
even sacred texts
Yeah.
can be invaluable on this journey.
It's like having our own personal council of wise advisors
Yeah,
to, like, help us navigate those tricky inner landscapes.
exactly.
Well, to recap, by
Yes.
cultivating tapas and shakti and seeking guidance when we need it,
Yes.
we can start to free our minds from those ego traps
Yes.
and move towards that ultimate reunion with our true selves.
You got it.
So to recap, by cultivating tapas and shakti and seeking guidance when we need it, we can start to free our minds from those ego traps and move towards that ultimate reunion with our true selves.
You got it. But it's not just about like reaching some distant endpoint, you know? The real transformation, it actually happens throughout the journey itself.
It's like they say, it's about the journey, not the destination, right?
Right.
But speaking of the journey, this whole time, I've been thinking about Sita.
Yeah.
Like, she's often seen as this symbol of purity, devotion.
Right.
But she also goes through a lot, like, what happens to her during this whole inner battle between, like, Rama and Ravana? You know, what's her experience?
That's such an important question. And the text really dives into the impact this inner struggle has on our minds, on our inner Sitas, so to speak. Think about it this way. Just as Sita endured captivity
Right.
and doubt, when separated from Rama, our own minds can experience that same turmoil
Yeah.
when we're disconnected from our true nature, from that connection to Brahman.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Those times when I'm, like, spiraling with self-doubt or feeling totally lost, that's like my own personal Sita in exile moment.
Exactly. And what's powerful about the Adhyātma Rāmāyaṇa
Yeah.
is that it doesn't shy away from those messier, more human aspects of the
Right.
spiritual journey.
Right.
Even Sita, who embodies purity and devotion,
Yeah.
faces these challenges.
It's like the story saying, hey, even the most enlightened beings go through tough times. You're not alone in this.
Precisely. And just like Sita's story doesn't end with her abduction,
Mm-hmm.
our struggles don't define us. The Adhyātma Rāmāyaṇa reminds us
Yeah.
that we have the inner strength to reclaim our minds,
Okay.
to break free from those limiting patterns and step back into wholeness.
So how do we do that? How do we help our inner Sitas reunite with our inner Ramas?
The text emphasizes that it's not about external conquest.
Oh.
It's about cultivating inner peace and clarity.
So less battling our demons and more understanding and integrating them.
Exactly. It's about remembering that we have the power within to choose love over fear, wholeness over fragmentation.
And that we don't have to do it alone.
Right.
Like Rama had his crew. We have our own support systems.
Yes.
Teachers, friends, even podcasts like this one.
Absolutely. And all those tools we talked about, cultivating tapas and shakti,
Right.
seeking guidance, those are like our pathways back to that inner reunion, to that place of peace and clarity.
This whole conversation has been incredibly eye-opening. I feel like I'm seeing the Ramayana and myself in a whole new light.
That's the beauty of the Adhyātma Rāmāyaṇa, right? It's not just an ancient story.
Right.
It's a mirror reflecting our own potential for transformation.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one thing you hope our listeners will take away from this conversation?
That you already possess everything you need to embark on your own inner journey. The Adhyātma Rāmāyaṇa simply illuminates the path. As you move through your day, your week, your life, notice where you see these archetypes playing out.
Okay.
What are your golden deer? Who are your Lakshmanas and Hanumans?
Ooh, good question.
By asking these questions, you might be surprised by the wisdom and insight you find within yourself.
That's a beautiful note to end on. Remember, you have the power to write your own Adhyātma Rāmāyaṇa. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the power of ancient stories and the transformative journey within the